Welcome to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 80 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. It's going to be an interesting day. I'm going to be doing stuff I've never done before, at least not live, and I'm just going to see how it works. I'll explain in just a second. I'm switching over to my desktop and to the agenda so I can give you a sense of what's going on today. But on that note, so this agenda, I should say, and I say this every time, or I try to, is available to you, viewer, beloved viewer. If you scroll down to the additional links section on Air Mozilla, there should be a link to this agenda, and I just realized I did not put it there, and I did not update this form. So the form, the rate this episode link is currently wrong. I'm going to update that as soon as this episode is over, but I'm going to put the link to the agenda in right away because I forgot to do that. I knew I forgot a step. So let me just do that really quickly. Oh, and apparently I'm very quiet. Let me boost my sound up. Hello? Is this better? Is this a little bit better? A little bit louder now? A little bit louder now? Is any of this better? How about now? Um, check. 1, 2, 3. How's my volume? How's my volume? I see what you're saying though. My gain does appear to be quite low. Let me try a thing. Audio input. Sorry about this. Check. 1, 2. That's there. Maxed out. Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to stand back. I'm going to try some science. Okay, now this is, I think I've switched to the room mic, so this will probably, it sounds probably pretty bad.
I plug back in my headset.
And now I'm going to switch back to the headset as my, that's probably quite loud now. That's probably quite loud. Is this better? I hope this is better. The view meter says it's better. Hopefully I haven't just deafened you. I'm going to adjust the gain a little bit. Bring you right back down. This looks, at least on the view meter, I can't hear myself, but the view meter says that it is a little bit better. A few people are still saying, like, how about now? I just put how about now in IRC. Is it better? Do let me know. I just re-plugged in my headset. I'm gonna ask the two beloved viewers who are watching this. Oh, apparently it's perfect. Okay, great. So, a little bit of a snafu to start there. That's okay. I'm gonna also copy the link to the agenda over here. I'm gonna say that the link for rating this episode is forthcoming. Link forthcoming. I'm going to say that so that you can follow along there if you reload the page. Link forthcoming. So, right, this agenda, now if you reload the page or if you're watching the archive video on Air Mozilla, in the additional links section there's a link to this agenda and you can click on these links, and as I update things during the live session, if you're watching live, this will synchronize and then you reload the page and hey, bazam, you get the updates. So, what am I hoping to do today? What do I have to say? Okay, well, a reminder that no plan survives breakfast. I'm making stuff up as I go. I kind of have a sense of what I want to do today, but like I said, I've never done this particular thing before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain a bug and then let me just tell you what's going on. So we worked on this a little bit last week, or something related to it, where we want to be able to define the style of checkbox and radio input fields. Right, this agenda now. That's not something that we've been able to do in the past. I'm actually surprised that I wasn't getting you weren't hearing crazy feedback, because I realize now this Joy of Coding video was Bazam! You get the updates. There were probably 2 of me playing in the background. That was probably super distracting. Oh man, what a snafu! This stream has probably been a little annoying. I apologize. So what's going on? Oh, also I gotta make sure that I can hear the stuff that you are hearing. So there we go. I can hear it. Was the background, was the stream playing in the background tab still audible? Like, were there 2 of me talking for a while? If so, deepest apologies. That must have been annoying. Oh man. Okay. Yep, I was trying to find where I had a second stream window open. Oh, so sorry. Okay, moving right along. I really apologize. I'll annotate the YouTube stream so that people know that they're not accidentally having 2 tabs open, because that was probably confusing. So here's a thing to check out. If you these are checkboxes. This is a radio button, but notice it looks a little bit funny. It looks a bit weird because normally whenever you're looking at web content, when you Richard was worried. Sorry, Richard. I probably freaked you out. That was all my bad. I'm sorry. Normally whenever you have a checkbox or a radio field, it probably looks like this. Or on OS X anyways, it normally looks like this. It's using the native styling. I've zoomed it in quite a bit, so it's a little anti-aliased, it's a little pixelated, but these are the colors, and this is what it looks like. This is the native widget look for the checkbox. Because if you look at like any other place where we've got like checkboxes, radios, like here's an example of a radio button or a radio input on OS X, and we use the native one whenever we do radios on the web. Now you can actually, in web content, bypass that if you use this rule down here. I'm going to try and pump up the font size so you can see what's going on. Hang on, let me focus the element, then pump up the font down here. So there's this rule. I've disabled it. I'm going to turn it back on. Moz-appearance, so -Moz-appearance none. You can do the same thing on WebKit, and there's one for, I'm guessing, Edge and Trident. But you can bypass the native appearance of the checkboxes and then, in theory, do additional styling, like change the borders. You can like restyle the checkboxes. Unfortunately, there's a limit to how much you can restyle the checkboxes. Like right now, if I try to change the borders to be red on the radio, and if I try and change the, let me see, I'll change here to blue, to purple, and like for checkbox, if I were to try to make the checkbox, let's try and make the checkbox background like purple. Background color purple. It doesn't work. It's bypassed. I think I can't even do it with important. So there's nothing I can do there, and that's not great. Especially because there are some places where in Firefox code we want to actually have styled checkboxes. One of those places is in like if you go to About Preferences, we have checkboxes in here that have this sort of like non-native styling. Oh, I don't know if you're able to see me pumping up the font there, but here these are non-native, and so there are a couple places where in content we want to display a non-native appearance. One of those places is actually About Tab Crashed. Unfortunately, that's not showing a checkbox right now because I didn't actually crash. I just went to About Tab Crash. Let me think of a place that actually has a checkbox. About debugging. So yeah, there's a checkbox here, and I landed a patch recently for About Tab Crash that changed one of the styling rules, and I got rid of the sort of like special styling that we had for that we currently have for About Preferences. Someone is pinging me. Live hacking right now. Can it wait for 2 hours? Um, because what we were doing before was this kind of hack where we put like a pseudo element before the label, and we actually hid the actual checkbox, and it was like really, really hacky. And one of the problems with the pseudo element is that whenever you had long text, it wouldn't wrap correctly because it considered the pseudo element part of the element, which I guess it kind of is. So that's not great. So I had to get rid of the pseudo element hackery, but it also means that the checkbox thing, we've got the sort of the non-native but unstylable checkboxes. So that's what bug 41883 is about. It's this old bug making it so that we can properly style non-native checkboxes. And I've got all of the patches with R+, but when I landed them, I got bounced because of a ref test failure. There were a couple of ref test failures, and I fixed a number of them, but there's still a couple, and they're all on Android. That's the problem. They're on Android. So the thing that I'm going to be doing today that I've never done before is I'm going to attempt to do some Android debugging. And that's going to be a bit tricky because I don't think I can show you my Android screen without like just holding it up. I'm going to have to like hold it up to the camera. And that's going to be a bit weird. But the good news is that the debugging interface that I can use for Android is actually here on my desktop. So I won't be able to show you the content very easily like I can hold on my phone, but the debugging stuff I can show on my screen here. And that's what I'm hoping to do. So what's the ref test failure? Well, first, a ref test is this code that it's a type of test where we create two pictures, essentially, two things, two drawings using the Gecko layout engine stuff, and then we compare them to see whether or not they're the same. So it's a little kind of, you have to hand assemble your reference, that's the ref part of ref test, the reference thing that you want something to look like, and sometimes you do that using a lot of hackery or maybe some CSS, and then you have your actual thing that you're attempting to test that is supposed to draw the same picture without the hackery, and then we compare them. And I'm failing one of those for Android. One of them I'm failing because we unexpectedly pass now, and so that's actually quite good. Android wasn't supposed to pass the ability to stretch the radio buttons, but now we can with the styling test. So I've addressed this one already, but this is a new one. Or this is the one I haven't addressed. And let's take a look. So the ref test failure log here actually gives us a link to the ref test analyzer, which will allow us to check out the before and after, and then an overlay to see what the difference is. Now there are two subtests here that I'm failing, and these are the two pictures. This is a picture. This is a picture. Oh, sorry. This is all one picture. This entire thing is one picture, and this is the reference, and this is the image, and there doesn't appear to be a whole lot different between the two, but I can circle the differences, and it looks like there's like 1 pixel difference in terms of like the coloring. And so there's a tool over here that will allow us to like examine the difference, and it's like highlighting the pixel with this like red flashing box, and then the pixel in the center is the one that we we sort of like analyze here. Yeah, move the pixel over the ref test image. The color information is for the pixel centered in the magnified view, so that'll be this one. So let's put the red flashing one in the middle. And what we've got is in image 1, the pixel is C3, 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 and in image 2, the reference, it's C2, C2, C2. So why? That's the first question, is why? That one's a little bit, that's interesting. I don't know why that would be. We will look into that. And the second failure is this one. This one's a little easier to spot whenever I flip back and forth between the two. There's a padding difference or a margin difference between the two images. Like they kind of switch places where one gets taller or one moves that way. I don't think I'm pointing in the right direction for you. One moves that way and the other one moves back that way, and we reverse them between the two images. And are they even supposed to be moving? So that's something I'm going to be looking at today, and we're going to be debugging. Now here's the issue, is I have to do this with the USB cable. I have to do like USB debugging, but I'm out of USB slots on my machine, which means I have to unplug something. And a bunch of the stuff I've plugged in, like my webcam and my headset, I need in order to do the stream properly. The last thing I have plugged in is a keyboard, and I also have a mouse plugged into the keyboard because there's a USB slot in the keyboard itself, and I've got my mouse plugged in there. And I think of all of these things, what I can probably give up easiest is the mouse. So I'm going to give up the mouse and just use the trackpad on my laptop here and plug in the phone for debugging. That's what I'm going to do next. And people are talking to me, and I'm going to have to defer them. Okay. So let us. And I'm making this up as I go. I'm gonna have to like get the build onto my phone. This all might be a little bit tricky, and I might have to describe some of it. So bear with me. So I'm gonna unplug my mouse. My mouse goes away, and now I'm plugging in this USB cable. And now I'm plugging in my phone. And now, in order to debug Android, I have to turn on, there's a developer, you can expose a developer's menu in the settings if you click on the version number enough in About Phone. And so in developer options, I'm turning on USB debugging. Okay, that's on now. And now I'm going to, let's see, I have to turn on, what do I want to do now? I need to send this build. I actually think I already have this build. I already started this process. So I put this build as this nightly build on try onto this phone. So I'm going to open up nightly now. And I'm going to have to turn on USB debugging in nightly, and that's under settings. Under advanced, I turn on remote USB debugging. Great. So USB debugging is enabled. So in theory, if I open up the web IDE, I can't use my mouse anymore, so I'm going to move that aside. And here it sees my phone plugged in. I'm going to, now this cable's a little iffy. I'm going to put this down. Hopefully it doesn't unplug itself. Oh, did it time out? Try again. Well, it sees it, so I'm going to click on that. No, it can't do it. I may have unplugged it accidentally. Let me unplug it and replug it. Okay, click on it, and it doesn't like it. Oh, why? Because I probably have to allow it. That's the other thing. I have to allow it on this. There's multiple steps in order to debug it. So I ask, allow. Okay, so now I've given it the ability to debug, and now I'm debugging it over here. I can actually look at the tabs I have open in my Fennec Android. So like there are two tabs open on my Fennec. One's at About Plugins, and one's at this other bug, bug 1134744 test case. So that's good. I've got myself debugging Android. Great. So now what I want to do is analyze, well, which one am I going to work on first is my question. And I think I want to work on this one, the one where like the radio buttons are kind of moving side to side and they shouldn't. And I think I more or less understand what's happening, but I will do this again just to make sure. Now the reason I'm opening up a terminal here is I want to run this ref test or like load the ref test onto the phone so that and then inspect it. So the ref tests are really just HTML pages that draw a picture, and so I can load those HTML pages. If I start up a server on my desktop and then browse to that server on my phone, because I believe both are currently on the Wi-Fi network. Yes, they are, and I should be able to get to the server from my phone. Let me just make sure I'm on the right Wi-Fi network. Yes, I am. Okay, so I'm going to create a server at the ref test directory, which is in layout ref tests writing mode. So it's in here, and then the test I'm talking about is called 1134744 radio checkbox baseline. So I'm going to create a simple HTTP server using Python. So it's created at port 8000 at this directory, and then on my phone, which I cannot hold up to you because I'm worried about unplugging it, but I'm going to, no, not Firefox, it's nightly, please. I'm going to browse to the address of this computer where I'm running this server. I have to find the address of this computer. I'm going to do it off screen. Okay, found it. Let me just type it in. And then the server is at port 8000, so run that. Great, and I can see I'm getting it here. I've got like server response. It's logging it. Now I need to go on the phone to this UA style sheet checkbox. Sorry, no, the one down here, which is 11344744 is the test. I'm going to open up two tabs, one at the reference and one at the other one, I guess the test one. So 11344744. 11344744. Found it. So I'm going to open up the reference in a new tab, and I'm going to open up the test one in a new tab and a reference in a new tab. Let's do that. Okay, so I've got the two tabs open. So this one, if I look at the where's my tool here? So I've actually the tabs have been reflected. So hang on, let me pump up the font in this as well. So I've got three tabs open on my phone. The first one's the directory listing of the files on my server, and then this one is the let's see, which one's this? What's the address here? The first tab is the test, and the second one is the reference. Okay, so the first tab, this one's the test, and then the second one is the reference. Oh, it's actually just listing the location here. Great, okay. Now, what I'm interested in doing is inspecting the difference in styling between the two checkboxes in the test and the reference. Sorry, not the checkboxes, the radios. So each test, just so you know, creates this picture, these sideways radio and checkboxes, and for some reason the radios are having their margin or padding changed. So let's take a look at the styling. So I'm going to inspect the HTML, and this is in the test and not the reference. So we're inside this thing with writing mode vertical RL, sideways right, and I've got my label and my radio. Radio is what I care about. So here's the node. And then in my reference, I'm going to switch over to reference now. I'm going to take a look at the label. And radio's down below because we're doing a slightly different ordering here of the nodes. It's RTL, I think is what's going on here. So I should be able to switch back and forth. Unfortunately, it resets the inspection every time. That blows. But let's take a look at the computed styling. So here's the box model. The node, if I look, so what's neat is that I don't know if I can show you this, but as I inspect around, here I'm gonna carefully lift this up so hopefully you can see it. As I inspect around, I've got, how am I, so there's I think I'm freaking out the filter on OBS whenever I hold this up. You know what? This isn't a good idea. This is not going to work. What I really should have is some kind of way of broadcasting. Get one of those Elmo projector things for this kind of hackery. But what's neat is that whenever I select a node in the developer tools, it highlights it in the phone. So their two are connected. So I can take a look at the radio and see that the padding, like the actual radio itself is has 7 by 9 dimensions. Sorry, width and height of 7 by 9, and then padding, it's like 1 on top and bottom, and then 2 on left and right. And then this is the thing I think is different. There's like a margin top of 5 and a margin bottom of 3. There's a margin left of 0 and a margin right of 3. And if I look at the other one, down here, the radio, there's a margin left of 3 instead of a margin right. So that's why it's kind of shifting. So now the question is, well, what's the right thing we're supposed to be doing? Is there supposed to be a margin at all? And if so, which one? So which one's the correct one? Because I've actually, even though the reference is supposed to be the right one, the reference is inheriting some of the CSS. And so, of the stuff I've changed. So I've actually changed the reference as well as the test. So I need to actually go back and look at a different build from before my patch landed in order to see what the actual padding is supposed to be. So let me think of how best to do that. I've got a Firefox non-nightly on my phone. If I turn on USB debugging for that, or hang on, what do I have in here? Yeah, I'll use release, I guess, and turn on USB debugging. Now, does it see it? Does it see? Yeah, Firefox on Android. Interesting. So now I can debug my Firefox, which will be the canonical, like will act as though this is the one that's correct, at least until further investigation. So I'm going to connect and allow it. And now I'm going to browse to the same site that we were looking at nightly, but on Firefox. So now I'm looking at the reference here. Good. Now I'm going to zoom in a little. So if we look at the radio, it's supposed to have a margin on the right. That's what we had up until now, is a margin on the right. And whenever we're in this other block down here of input type radio, we have a margin on the left of 3. Okay, so it's supposed to be on the right, and then below it's supposed to be on the left. Now going back to debugging nightly, we'll look at the test one again. Oh, I've already forgotten. Ah, I've forgotten what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be left and then right. In the test, we've got right and then left. Right and then left, and it's supposed to be left and then right. So where is this padding, or where is this margin coming from? Well, if we look at the rules, we're using, there's some kind of rule here about margin block start and margin block end. Margin inline start and margin inline end. Like if I were to change this from 0px to margin block start, margin block end. It's supposed to start is 3, margin block end is 0. This is what we're supposed to have. These are the rules that we're supposed to have on the radio. I'm going to actually copy those bring that over to my notes. Wait, are they the rules we're supposed to? These are the rules we came up with. That's what it is. So the rules that we we end up with in nightly. Sorry, let me pump up the font so you can see this. And scroll down. These are the rules that we end up with on for the radio input. In the test page, first, and then this is the first radio. And then I don't think there are different rules for the other radio. I think it's the same business. We haven't changed the margin. It's because we're using block, like the margin block, start and end. We're not using left or right, we're using start and end, and that's different. Start and end is different based on whether or not you are. Oh, and then there's this padding block start. But we don't care. It's about the margin. The padding's fine. It's about the margin. Okay, so let's take a look at the rules that we've got for the main process in Firefox now, as opposed to nightly. So the actual reference. Switching over to Firefox. Radio. Show me the rules. Come on, show me the rules. What? Show me the rules. Why is this not working? Are there no rules? There are definitely rules. Why? This was definitely working before. I might have to disconnect and reconnect. So switching over to nightly again, and then I'll switch over to Firefox. Allow. God. I can't inspect the rules. Why can I not inspect the rules? Is it because DevTools is kind of broken in current release? I might have to get like a normal nightly. How do I do this? I've got buggy nightly and normal nightly. I want to have like multiple nightlies. Let's see. I need to be able to like look at these styles, like window.get computed style. Okay. Ugh, it's just busted. Okay, good. So what were we talking about? We were talking about. No, don't open Slack. No. Quit Slack. Quit Slack. We wanted to look at margin block start. Margin. Get past all these capitalized things. Margin. Margin block start and margin block end are 0. Interesting. Whereas in whoopsie daisy, didn't mean to boot a Firefox OS simulator, quit the simulator. Whereas in nightly, if we were to do that same process of selecting the radio, where the rules apparently work here, it's so annoying. But if I do window.get computed style, whoops, not $0 is a shortcut for what I've currently got selected in the inspector. Okay, then under Moz or margin block start and margin block end are blank. Oh, interesting. Margin block start and margin block end are blank here as well. But margin right is 3. Oh, okay. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I need to get a copy of. I need to like actually inspect the styles that are being applied here, but currently, my Firefox doesn't let me. This style stuff is busted in Firefox. It works on Nightly though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a copy of Developer Edition. Let's try Developer Edition. I'm gonna download it for Android. But not from here. I need to other Nightly builds from 2016. Aurora. I'm gonna do an Aurora from today, and then Android. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. Pub Fennick mobile releases. No, Nightly. Yeah. Here we go. Nightly Mozilla Aurora Android API 15. We're going to do this one. That's this morning. And then get the APK. I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to send this to my phone. Thankfully, I can send it to my Firefox. Thanking Sync for that. And now I pull that down. This is like so many. This is a Rube Goldberg machine. And then I just got the tab, right? Yes, I just got the tab. Now I'm downloading the Aurora build onto my phone. The download is underway. Fennec 52. Download is complete. Now I'm opening the APK. Do I want to install Firefox Aurora? Yes. Now we're going to see if Aurora can do the style inspection, and we'll use that as a reference instead of my built-in Firefox, which we were using before. This is so weird. Okay, app is installed. I'm opening it up. Brand new profile, fresh as a baby. Not right now. Okay, so settings. Turn on USB debugging. Okay, so now and I got unplugged, so I'm gonna plug it back in. There we go. I got Aurora now. Aurora. I'm gonna allow the incoming connection, and then I'm gonna send us to the reference page. Let's see if we can inspect our styles here in Aurora. Let's see if it's working in Aurora. Yes, it appears to be. Good. So that's a head start. So in the reference, We've got padding. We're looking at margin. Margin is what we cared about. Margin block start was 3. Margin block end was 0. And that's supposed to still work. And so what we end up with this computation is, so in the good scenario, and that's Aurora, Fennec, the margin 3px is on the right side of the box for radio, and the rules are, which is the same rule as before. So the rules are being interpreted differently, is what I'm getting here. Now the rule is slightly different in nightly because I got rid of the important on border radius, but the rules are being interpreted slightly differently, it seems. Margin block start in the good case is being sideways right. Writing mode sideways right. Let me just double check here. Text orientation sideways right. Let me CSS text orientation sideways right. An alias to sideways that is kept for compatibility purpose. The keyword leads to have characters laid out like they were laid out horizontally, but with the whole thing rotated to the right if writing mode is vertical RL, or to the left if it is vertical LR. Writing mode. So writing mode in this test is what? Writing mode in this test is vertical RL. So everything is being rotated to the right. Content flows vertically from top to bottom, horizontally from left to right. The vertical line is positioned to the left of the previous. The next vertical line is positioned to the left of the previous line. Okay. And so everything is just rotated 90 degrees. And so the margin block start is being computed as being the right side of the box. The right side of the box. Which is actually, yeah, and then there's 0 on the left side of the box, there's 3 on the right side of the box. That's interesting. Okay, and then let's go back to our nightly. Nightly on Android. Oh, but it does have, so this is correct. This one is correct. So the first one is correct on the test. And it is the reference, I think. If we look at the reference, do we have the reference open on nightly? Firefox Nightly on Android. Oh, I had to load it. Okay. The reference has it wrong because it's got 3 on the left and the right. That's interesting. So where's this 3 on the left coming from? Margin on the left. Margin inline end is Interesting. So margin block end is supposed to be 0, but it's 3 here. Interesting. So here's the CSS. Line 550. Oh man. Okay, down here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the checkbox. I'm not looking at the right element. That's probably not helping. I need to look at the radio. Okay, and on the radio it's on the left side and it's supposed to be on the right. It's on the wrong side. Yeah. Why? Margin block start still 3. So yeah, we are just interpreting margin block start differently. But only on Fennec. We'd probably be failing this test on desktop. That might be a good idea. I can probably debug this more easily if I can get it to fail on desktop. Then we can do away with all this Fennec business. And I can probably get it to fail on desktop if I make this test use the non-native checkboxes and radios. So I'm going to see if I can do that. This is which test? Tests, writing mode, baseline, this thing. Whoops, didn't mean to save it. The wrong thing checked. So I'm going to make it so that input type equals checkbox or input type equals radio. Whoops, radio. You're going to have a Moz appearance none. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the reference. Reference. And let's see if we fail this test on desktop. And if so, well, I can get my mouse back. So I'm trying to remember how to run a ref test. Mock ref test, I think. Whoops, that should have been help, not hip. Yeah, mock ref test will work. Okay, mock ref test and then a path to the test, which is layout ref tests, writing mode, and then 11344744. I think that's what I want to do. And get it to work. And what happened? A pass. I passed. That's not expected. I passed and that's not expected. So there must be like a Fennec specific. Here, there's like a Fennec specific rules that show up here in content.css. That's Fennec specific as opposed to the forms.css, which is toolkit in general. Fennec specific does this stuff. So the rule that I'm getting burned by must be in here somewhere. But I don't know what it would be. This border. I could start like just tearing out some rules. What am I debugging? I'm debugging nightly. Yeah, and that's what I wanted. And I want to look at the reference. The reference is the one that's screwing up. The reference is the one that's screwing up. And the difference between the reference The non-reference is because I am doing left to right as opposed to, I think we're doing right to left over here. Yeah, right to left. So left to right is messed up. Left to right is messed up. Right here, this one. Something about the content.css stuff is screwing us. We have to find, that's my guess anyways. If I get rid of some of these rules, we could try and like figure out which one it is. I mean, this is all theory, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that's what's up. Computed. Like if I, that's definitely supposed to be on the right. That padding. Yeah. Or that margin is supposed to be on the right. Right? Like the reference in Aurora, where does it have the padding? Just so I double check on the reference. So let me just look at the reference on Aurora. I'm doing a lot of like double and triple checking because it's important we get this right. Copy and then load the reference in a new tab on Aurora. Here we go. Got the reference in a new tab. And then down here I've got the radio. And it puts the margin on the left. That's so interesting. What if it's not the... What? The margin is on the left. And it's 11 by 11. It's 11 by 11. And the whole thing is 13 by 13. Where and in the test case, so like this is the test case again. We're going to look at the radio. The whole thing's 13 by 13. And it's 11 and 11 in the middle. Now if I go back to nightly, allow it. And we inspect the test case. Checkbox. 13 by 13, but it's not 11 and 11 in the middle. 5, 6, 7, and then I think this is width by height. So 5, 6, 7, and then 9, 16. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, is the box sizing model different? Box sizing is border box, so it's by the border. 1, 2, so 1, 2, and then 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's why it's 13, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 over here. 13 by 13. And then on Aurora, I have to go back to Aurora. It is 11 by 11. There's no padding around it. 12, 13. Okay. What if the bug is not on the radio? What if it's on the checkbox that's beside it? So the checkbox is like, these are, what am I on? I'm on Aurora. This is what the checkbox, the box model and the checkbox is in the test case. I'm gonna copy this to my notes. Theory. What if the problem is actually with the checkbox. I ask this because the margin in Aurora for the radio is the same as in Nightly. So this is the box model for the checkbox in the test case on Aurora. So that's good. So there we go. Now we're going to do we're going to look at Nightly. Switching over to Nightly. Looking at the checkbox in the test case. That's here. And here it is for Nightly. Bad? So instead of 11 by 11, we've got the dimensions are changed slightly. The margins are still correct. The border is still correct. The padding has changed. 9, 10, 11. It still sums up to 11 by 11. And the margins are fine. So what's going on here? I'm looking at Nightly. Looking at the radio. Is it the label? The label doesn't have anything tricky about it. The div doesn't have anything tricky about it. The radio is actually, it's got the right stuff going on here. There's another label down here. And that's the size of the label. Oh. Oh, I think I see it. I think I see the difference. I think I see the difference. It has to do with the alignment of the label. The alignment of the label to the checkbox. The label alignment the rules say on it default and computed. Where are we looking at? We're looking at Nightly. That there's no like wackiness there. Hang on, I gotta switch back to the Aurora, because in the Aurora case the labels are they're centered to the checkboxes. So why is that? Why are they centered? It's because I wish, what I need is to take this screenshot. Can I is there a way I can take a screenshot here? Screenshot, storage inspector. Is there a tool for project? Screenshot. Okay. So I'm going to take a screenshot in just a second of the radio. Keep that there. Screenshot is... Well, that's one thing I'm looking at. I'm gonna have to do this manually. So that's one screenshot. Here, this is the good case. And then I'm gonna switch over to the bad case again. And then we're gonna inspect the difference manually. Nightly. Wow. So this is the difference, and ignore the scaling artifacts, but look at more of the alignment. Look at the alignment of the label in the bad case to the alignment of the label in the good case, where we've got in the good case the text is aligned correctly with the form field, and in the bad case there's like it's like bumped up. And why is that? And that's not what we get whenever we do this, like, if I do this ref test, help, can I like make it keep open? Special powers, clean crash, run test in parallel, run until failure, send. Can I do keep open? No, not really. That's a pain. I love to be able to see it. Well, maybe if I like intentionally make the reference like background color red. What? How are we passing? How are we passing this? Oh, you know why? Because I don't... There's a reason why this is passing. It's because I don't have the patch checked out that allows the styling on the tree. Hold on a second. Hold on. We might be able to get off of Fennec just yet. Let me make sure I've got the right stuff built and checked out. Because it would be super great if I could get off of this Fennec hackery and just do it on desktop. So there's some stuff I was dealing with before, but I don't have to anymore, so I'm going to get rid of it. Great. And now I'm going to check out, what was the tip there? Checkbox work. Date. Checkbox work. Now I'm going to build it. So this is good. So yeah, this is the problem, and hopefully I can like reproduce this in the like locally on desktop. This shouldn't take too long to build. Pretty sure that my C cache will make this uber fast. I'm hoping. Yeah, now we're linking. Just give it a second, give it a second. Almost done. Normally I'd move on to something else, but this is a short enough job. I mean, it's long, but it's a short enough job that context switching is not going to buy me anything. Okay, so now I've got the checkbox stuff there. I'm going to add that rule to the ref test, and this rule to the reference in the ref test. Oops. Copy, paste. Okay, so now run the ref test. What? Passed? That was unexpected. Let's open up the, hang on, mock run. Okay, and what was the name of the test? 1134744. These two. So that's the test, that's the reference. Test, reference, test, reference, and they are the same. Shoot. So I'm guessing that the reason that we're failing here is because of some special Fennec CSS. I can try and apply some of that Fennec CSS. So they've got content.css in Android here. I'm gonna copy this in the test case in the style editor, add a new style sheet. Anything? That actually just looks horribly wrong. Where does the rule for the border come from, for example? Oh, probably because there are some like variables that I'm missing. Like defines.css. I need defines.css. I need to add these. Whoops. So in here, so that works. And then over in the test case, I will copy over the same stuff. Now, is there a difference? Yes, there is a difference. I think we've recreated the difference. Notice the difference. Why the difference? Okay, so now I'm going to get my mouse back because I think we've made it so that we can investigate things here without using Fennec. So I'm going to disable. I'm going to disconnect. Boo! Put my mouse back in. Boo! Have my mouse back. Oh, beautiful. What a feeling. What a feeling. Okay, so why does that radio move? You notice it moving? Like doot 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 doot. It just like it flips back and forth. Why is it moving? So let's inspect it. Computed. The computed radio stuff. We got 3 on the left in the reference, and then over here we got 3 on the right. So we were wrong? Like, I can get rid of some of these rules. Moz block start 3, Moz block end 0. And then inline, I could get rid of some of these rules now. See if turning any of those. Oh, padding block end shifted some stuff around. And then what about that? Also shifted some stuff around. Or, okay. Can I get rid of that? Okay. So not super crazy stuff, but the computed is still on the right over here, and it's on the left over here. And I guess that's only a problem. I got rid of more rules over here. What rules did I get rid of? Yeah. Interesting, interesting. Now that's fine. Now I'm going to start putting some rules back. That's still fine. Padding end. Padding block end. Padding block end seems to have something to do with it. If I turn padding block end off, problem goes away. What about padding block start? Well, they're equivalent. Padding, like, if I do padding block end and padding block start, we should be, you'd think, having turned them on, they'd be the same. Padding block end, padding block start. I've got padding of 2 and 2 on the left, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. And then over here, I got 2 on the left, 2 on the right. The margin is still different. And over here, if I turn them off, the margin is still different. The margin is still different, but we seem to like collapse that margin left into the margin right of the, is there a margin over here? Yeah, there's a, no, there isn't. There's a margin right of 3 and a margin left, but they don't collapse into one another. They're distinct. And over here, margin right. Interesting. Now, what if, like, I still don't understand. I thought I was onto something, but it still looks like the fact that margin is different only impacts things when I start bumping up the padding. As soon as I start pumping up the padding on the left and the right, that's when things go awry. Padding inline, not so much, but as soon as I bump up the padding on the block start, things go awry. Why? Block size is 13. Inline size is 13. Just messing around, just testing some stuff, just experimenting. Block size. Have I successfully overridden the block size? Yes, I have. If I change that, I can change. Okay. But was block size changed by the stuff? Border. By the change in, like, what was the exact CSS changes here? Let's take a look. Squash all of them. Made the border radius 100%. Yeah, that's fine. The padding to 0. Oh, before we were making sure that the padding was always 0. That's interesting. So in the old case, the padding was 0 and important. If I put that back, zero. Style editor. Okay, we're back in business then. Let me just make sure I have all the rules turned back on. Whoop. Border width. Okay, and then over here, turn the rules all back on. Folks, I think we found the root of it. It has to do with the padding. The patch that restyles things, we made it so that padding can be modified by content, and I have a feeling that the padding is being accidentally modified by some of Fennec's styles, and it's not supposed to be. Content.css. Let's take a look at, well, actually, I'm going to reconnect. I'm going to get rid of my mouse again. We're going to look at Fennec. Or wait, no, I might be able to do this just by looking at the rule in here for radio, padding, inline. So all this padding inline block stuff was originally being ignored. None of this is supposed to work. Inline start, end, all of that was supposed to be ignored before. And now it's not being ignored with the patches that I've added. So I think we have a solution. I'm going to reconnect Fennec. So sorry, mouse. Away you go. I'm back to talking to Fennec. I'm going to try a thing. I'm going to connect to Nightly. And now I'm going to get rid of that one rule. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of the padding rule. Where is it? Padding, yeah. And the user agent style sheet. Oh, I can't get rid of it there, but I can override it. I'm going to say padding 0, important. Input, type, checkbox, or input type equals radio. I'm going to say padding 0, important. I'm going to copy that to the other tab as well. Style editor. Try that again. I think I screwed things up. I'm gonna reconnect. Oh, I think I've borked my toolbox. Okay, I'm gonna close the IDE. I'm gonna open it again. Okay, I'm gonna refresh. And then I'm gonna reconnect by USB. There we go. And then I'm gonna connect to Nightly again. Allow it. I got both tabs open. The reason I broke it is because one of my background tabs had like disconnected, or like it had unloaded. Okay, so my old styling stuff still applies. Now let's take a look at the difference, or I'm gonna have to take a look at the difference manually. So what I'm gonna do is zoom out and then take screenshots of both. So screenshot of test case. Screenshot, test case. There's a screenshot of the test case, and then screenshot. Not test case, the reference, screenshot reference. And if I flip back and forth, hey, no difference, no difference. Okay, so this is good. I think I know what we want to do. What basically has gone on, just to explain, is that inside Fenix content.css, they have some rules that used to not be applied. They were overridden before, but now we've made it so that they apply, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't apply. Right here, these padding rules. None of this is supposed to be applied. I'm going to get rid of those. That, I think, is going to fix our test. And the way I can know for sure is by pushing it to try. So, I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to reconnect my mouse. We're going to push this to try, and then I think we're going to call this episode Wrapped. And that was pretty successful, I'll say, if I'm right here. Bug 418833, get rid of some padding rules for checkbox and radio on Fennec that were never being applied. Snorp. And then I think, what else do I have on this stack? I gotta stretch ref test now past. Okay, so now I'm gonna push for review, or I'm gonna push to try. And I'm gonna use the same try syntax as before. And hopefully that'll work. So we're going to push to try, and then I'm going to call this episode Wrapped. Let me play some success sounds. I mean, it's a little too early to celebrate just yet, but I am just a little bit because I'm pretty sure we got it.
That's right. Oh yeah.
And what's another good one? There we go. Excuse me. So finishing this push to try, and then I'm going to wrap this episode. Come on, try. I want to make sure that this goes through. Go, 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 go. Come on. Oh, there we go. We got it. we're done. Okay, so I'm going to take this link. I'm going to drop it in my notes so you can follow it if you care. And I should write down what happened. Oh, I'm going to say, oh. It looks like padding is supposed to be 0. Looks like padding is supposed to be 0. And not, yeah, padding's supposed to be 0. Aurora. Now, it's weird because this causes it to, like, squish. I have a feeling that's what's going on. This is squishing because of the padding. And when we get rid of the padding, the content should expand out to become the full 11 by 11. Looks like the padding is supposed to be 0. Can't believe I didn't notice that. Notice there were some padding rules being applied to checkbox and radio that never used to work because the old forms.css had padding 0 important. But the new, but the patches removed the important, which meant that this padding was suddenly being applied. I just got rid of them because clearly we were okay shipping without the padding actually having any effect with an E. Okay, that's it. We got through just this first part. Got through this. See notes for dirty details. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and I didn't get to my review stuff. I'll do that after. Thank you so much for watching episode 30 of The Joy of Coding. Whoop. I hope this was enjoyable for you. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we solved this mystery. And do let me know what you think of the episode. If we go back over to here, I'm going to, as soon as I stop streaming and recording, I'm going to update the notes with the actual link and the additional links section inside Air Mozilla to the form that you can fill out for letting me know what you thought of this episode. Because I do want to know. I read every single piece of feedback that comes in. Please let me know, so I will link forthcoming. That's what's going to happen. Again, thank you so much for watching episode 80. I hope it was enjoyable, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.